Hello and welcome. My name is Michelle Pethley and I am the owner of Shellys Wreaths and More. I make home arrangements and wreaths. Today I'm going to design this handsome little snowman for the Women at Rustoleum event. What I'd like to do is just take a few minutes to go through the items that you will receive in your kits for you to complete at home. So I'm going to remove him and show you what we're going to be doing. You will receive a kit that comes in a bag like this. Almost everything you need will be in this bag. The additional things that you will need that are not included in this bag are going to be a pair of, you're going to need some wire cutters, all right? You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're also going to need a hot glue gun. I have a hot glue gun here. Or what I like to use is an electric skillet. This is off screen, but it's basically an electric skillet, small, and I melt my glue sticks in it. So all I need to do when I design is dip it and in the glue. Makes it a lot easier for me anyway. So if you are able to get a glue skillet, that would be really easy for you. If not, any hot glue gun will work just fine. The problem with my gun is it's like a flamethrower. It's very, very hot. You'll see it when I do use it. It throws off a lot of steam. So I tend to use the glue skillet more than the glue gun. However, you use what you need to do. If you do use glue, I would suggest that you use the glue. It's called Gorilla Glue. You can get Gorilla Glue sticks. I would use those. That's a very good brand to use. And you can buy it at any store. You can find them, if you can believe it, at Home Depot. But Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any craft store carries these glue sticks. Now this right here is a Lazy Susan. It makes designing an arrangement in the round a little easier. Now you do not need this to design your own at home, so don't worry if you don't have that. That's not going to be an issue. I just will do it, and I'll be able to spin my arrangement around a little bit quicker for you so you can see what I'm doing. Now, let's go through what comes in your kit. Your kit will come with a snowman. Now, during travel, this little guy loses, his arms may become a little loosey-goosey, okay? He likes to wave to you. However, what you would need to do is just push it in a little further. You can, I don't know if you can hear it over my talking, but this is a foam body, so these little sticks just are stuck in there. And in the case that it is still too loose, just put a little dab of glue there and push it in, and he will be just fine. Okay? So he's going to be a part of your kit. I'm going to move him out of the way so he's not in the camera until we need him. Then, of course, you're going to get the candlestick that we're building this on. All right? And in addition, you're going to get some greenery. I'm going to refer to this greenery as your green greenery. You'll get a big piece of frosted or snowy greenery. Okay. You'll also get, this is known as a filler flower. All right. You'll get one of those. You're going to get a poinsettia. And it doesn't look like a poinsettia right now, but it will once we fluff it all out. All right. And then you're going to get a little packet down at the bottom with a bunch of little things. Okay. Let's open it up. You're going to get the piece of foam. Okay. Going to get a piece of foam that we're going to adhere to the top and build our arrangement off of. All right, you're going to get a piece of felt. I'll tell you the magic of felt when we get to that point. You're going to get 2.5 yards of ribbon, as well as some zip ties and These are nubs. I know, sounds weird. These are little pieces of the stem of the flower. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. But this is how we're going to, once we make our bow, we're going to attach our bow to this, and then we're going to stick the bow into the arrangement. So we'll get to those in a little bit. But I just wanted to explain what you'll see in this packet. All right, so why don't we get started? I'm going to just put all my little loose items away. All right, and let's move these to the other side of the camera so you don't have to look at them. And I apologize for the noise. You are going to hear the rustling of the paper just for a minute. I'll take it out and try to mitigate the sounds that it makes. Okay, so first thing we're going to do now is we're going to get our foam onto this plate. Now this plate is metal, all right? The candlestick is wood, the plate is metal. It's metal, of course, so if you put an actual candle on it, it doesn't damage anything, okay? So what we're going to do is, that's the magic of the felt. Hot glue does not stick to metal, okay? You can put it on there, you can stick it on and you'll think, oh, it is. But eventually it loosens up and will come right off. But felt is a very magic fabric. For some reason, felt will stick to metal as well as this. It becomes a perfect bonding piece. Now, I'm just going to take the piece that came in the kit. I'm cutting it in half. Then I'm just going to cut a half in half. And the reason is there's a little bit of a dip in this metal. All right, so I'm going to build up the by just putting these in. Okay, and then when I put the one, it'll just build it up perfectly. A 3-layer buildup is just perfect. I am just going to cut this a little bit, take the edges off because the square is a little bit too big and I don't want them hanging out. So all I've done is just cut this kind of round so that it fits in there. Okay, so let's use this. Now watch, this is my flamethrower. This is what I'm telling you about. If you are using a glue skillet, just find a piece of like a stick or something that you can dip the glue, dip it out of. But I'm going to use my flamethrower real quick. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the, see that? Do you see that steam coming out of there? That is one hot. Okay, so all I've done is I just stuck the first one, and look at how fast it adheres. I mean, this felt is amazing. I'm going to do it to the second layer, and I'm just doing a crossing pattern with this. Okay, you see it? And finally, the third one. Okay, just going to glue that on. And there you have it. That's all we need to do to build up the felt. All right? Now, one thing I am going to do is in the kits that you will receive, I will already have done this for you, but I did not do this for my kit. If you can see, the candlestick is round and this is square. So all I'm going to do is just take off the edges on an angle. Okay. Just so that by doing that, the bottom almost looks round now. All right. And it sits directly on that foam perfectly. Yet we still have enough on the top to make our decoration. Okay, so like I said, that will be done for you already. I just did not do that for my kit that I'm using. Now I'm just going to dip this into my glue skillet, scrape it off, and push it right down onto that felt that's already there. And between the felt and the hot glue, this foam piece will not come off of that metal. Like I said, if you'd put that foam directly on the metal with the hot glue, it would have stuck for a while. But next year, when you pull this out of your Christmas decorations, the snowman will probably be laying in the box. All right, now you can see that I have a lot of extra glue, but that's going to be okay because that's just holding, it's going to hold that piece in place perfectly. Okay, so let's start now. We're going to put our snowman on. Now our snowman is, as I explained, he is foam. All right, his body is a foam, 2 foam balls, 3 foam balls actually. The bottom has a plastic, kind of a plastic plate on it, okay? So we have to do a little something special. Take your scissors directly in the middle, as best as you can, in the middle of the bottom. You're going to pierce and kind of make a hole, okay? Now, I don't know if you can see that hole. Yeah, you can. All right. Remember those sticks that I gave you in your kit? All right. So one of those sticks, I'm going to take this. I'm going to dip it into my glue pot and put it in this hole and push it in. Now, I need to push it in. All I'm going to do here quickly is just measure. Kind of, you can see how far you have to push it in. You only want, if I had a pen here, you only need this much of the stick. Let me mark it. Maybe you can see it. Okay, so all I did was mark the stick with a black line. That's how much is going to go into the foam. Okay, so this is how much has to go into the body of the snowman. Now, if you don't want to put that much in, or if it's too hard, what you can do is we can just cut this with our wire cutters, take a little bit off. Okay, now dip it in my glue pot. All right, I'm going to put it into the hole that I've made and push it as far into that line that I can go. Okay, so there, I've pushed it into the snowman all the way up to the line that I drew. All right, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to put some glue on the stick and around the base of the snowman, around the stick, because that's going to stick to the foam as well. Okay, so now just line it up and push it on. And that's all you need to do. Now, the glue that I put on the base of the snowman is adhering, as well as that stake. Okay? Like 2 parts are helping hold that snowman on there. We're just going to give it a few seconds just to let it cure a little bit, to cool off and dry. And I'm going to get this glue that I dripped down onto my... So you can even see that this glue kind of peels off of the wood. So if this happens to you, it just peels right off. All right. Now you may need to reinforce this a little. It just depends on how much glue you put on. But generally with that glue that's on the stick itself and how I put it onto the base of the snowman, that's gonna hold on pretty well. Okay. Okay, so while that dries, let's get on to our next stage. Remember the greenery that I talked about? We're going to take and open this up, each piece. We're going to peel back and open up each piece on this, okay? Because we're going to cut this off. We're going to cut this off of the main stem. Each piece of this greenery is wrapped onto the stem, and we're just going to peel it all back so that with your wire cutters, go right up the stem and pull them all off, okay? I just open them up because it's easier. All right, so this is what it looks like. It's a pretty big stem, has a lot of different greeneries and components on it, so it's a very nice filler bush. It's going to fill in. Now, I'm going to just take and cut each piece off. Let me move this aside a little bit. I'm going to cut off each piece as close to this main stem as I can get, okay? Just cut it off as closely as you can. Just go through and nip them all off. This may take a little bit of time, but just trim them all off. And you may have to just, sometimes you have to cut part of the limb, but that's okay because the needles will fall off, but it'll still stay intact. And I'm just going to trim this all off. We're going to do this with the white bush as well, just so you know. If you want to get all your cutting done at once, you can do that. Or we can do it in stages. All right, now the first thing, okay, so you can see now the stem, I've cut them all off of that stem. Okay? So now just take and sort these according to what type of greenery it is. This is like the typical evergreen. So I'm going to just pull them and put them together. And the reason for this is because when we enter them, let's hold these berries off to the side. We're going to put them in at the end of the arrangement, all right? But you'll see that you're going to get different pieces, different types of greenery, all right? And you want to just, now I have 4 of these little, they're very light ferns. Can you see those? I'm going to put those aside with the berries because they're littler. They'll be our defining work at the end, our fine work, just to put it in there. Okay, now I have 1 of these pieces of this long needle pine. All right. I have 2. I think these are called bottle brush greenery, or bottle brush evergreen, I should say. And then a whole mass of these. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these into the arrangement. This is going to be my last one. I'm going to hold it off. And because we only have 1 of them, I'm going to show you. I'm going to pull these needles back, and I'm going to cut the brown stem right here in half, making this 2 pieces of long needle pine. Okay? See, by just cutting them. So now I have 2 of them. I have 2 of the bottle brush, and then I have all the rest are this greenery. Now we're going to start with this greenery here, and I'm going to put it in around my snowman's base, and I'm going to explain to you that there's basically on this foam there's 3 locations. There's the low, the middle, and the high. So I'm going to go around this my snowman, and I'm going to put the first one in, I'm going to put in on the low side of the foam. Then the next one I'm going to put in the middle, and then the next one I'm going to go high. And then just reverse this, just keep this pattern going, because all we're doing is we're greening our base, all right? And I'm going to quickly count. I have 4, 6, 8, 10 pieces. Just want to make sure I don't run out of pieces when I'm spinning this around. So hold all these pieces down, okay? And then dip this into the glue pot or put your glue gun, and then however you're applying your glue, and I'm going to start, and I'm just going to push it in to the bottom in the lower position. In fact, let's skip the middle position and just go high and low with this particular greenery. We can fill in the middle section with the more decorative greenery. So my next piece, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to continue around in a circle, and I'm going to put this one in on the high side of the foam. So they're kind of staggered. My next piece is going to be back to the low position, and you can just fill this in completely by going around. Okay? And I'm going to hold that foam just for a little bit longer, only because everything is still not 100% cured. So when I put this in, I'm just going to kind of hold that foam for, all right. So can you see how it's kind of staggered? You know, the high, the low, the high, the low, the high. Okay, it's giving it some depth. We don't want it to all look, it would just look like a big fan if we put it all on the same level of the foam. Okay, so this is creating little spaces. We call them windows. And then our next greenery will fill in our windows. So that's kind of the process that we're going to go through. We're just putting these in high and low, all the way around. Okay, now I started on the back of my snowman because if I don't have enough, or if I've miscalculated or something, I'm taking this one out because the glue hadn't completely dried yet. I'm going to just move it over. Just a little bit. Move it over so that as I come around the back, I have two more pieces. I'm going to go low and then high, and that'll finish this type of greenery. Okay, so there we have it. We've gone around completely. High, low, high, low, high, low. Okay, and you can see there's obviously some holes, which is not a problem for us because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these two, which are the bottle brush greeneries. We're just going to put them in a hole that we see. Now I have a hole right here in the front of my snowman. So, and this is a different kind of greenery, so I'm going to put it right in the front. Now I don't want the other one, and I'm going to put it kind of in the middle of the foam. Okay, see how that filled it in? Now, since I only have two, I don't want them right next to each other. I'm going to space it out and take it over here, maybe on the side. Okay, I'm not going to worry too much about the back. We're still going to take care of the back, but we don't want the fancy things in the back necessarily because nobody's going to see them. So I'm just going to fill this one in right here. Okay, they're far enough apart. One's higher, one's lower. And I'm going to tell you, there's no right or wrong with this. Now, the long needle, since we have two, I'm going to wait towards the end for that as well. So I have the four ferns, the red berries, and the long needle pine over here. Now we're going to take and do the same thing we did with the green. We're going to do that with our snowy. Now I guarantee you, you're going to be surprised at how much is on this pick. This is a huge, huge, huge pick. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to separate. Now I'm going to cut off the pine cone. I do not use the pine cone in my arrangements, in a candlestick anyway, because it just takes up too much room and it's kind of clunky. But if you feel like saving your pine cone and putting it in, please do it. This is your design. So all I'm doing is just opening up all of these pieces so that I can get my wire cutters in there and cut these all off. Then we're going to separate them by type, just like we did before. All right. Now just start from the bottom and clip away. Like I said, there are so many pieces in this. So we have long needle frosted, we have cedar frosted in here, we have evergreen. It's amazing. This pick is absolutely gorgeous pick. We have some cypress. all I'm doing, again, is just peeling them back, cutting them. Cutting them as closely as I can to the main stem. Okay. Just a few more to go. I'm working around that pine cone because I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to use it. But again, do what you would like. And these are finally our last two. Okay. So we're going to throw that away. All right, now comes the big sorting. Just go through and sort. You can see that these are like cedar. Okay. These are, this has two pieces on it. You'll see when you get it close. It's got these two different pieces. So separate those out as well. So you'll have another one of those. And these, I'm just sorting these. Okay. There's long needle, the evergreen, the mystery. Okay. Oops. Here's one that's got to be separated. Yep. Okay. And this particular piece is why sorting is so important, because you want a little bit of all of this all the way around your arrangement. Okay, so there we go. We have this long one here. We have, I thought we have 3 cedars. Yes, we have 3 pieces of this. We have 2 of those. We'll have 4 of these, and then 3 of these. Okay, so I'm going to start with these long ones, the long needle pine, and all we're going to do is we're going to take each type, and we're going to go and spread each type through the arrangement, one type at a time, okay? That'll help you to get it all spread out, and you won't have the same piece right next to each other. So we have 3 of these, all right? I like the look of them, how they go down, they drape down, so I'm going to take and, again, hold back all of the pieces, get the point of the arrangement, the piece, and I'm going to put him in the back, all right? Now this piece is a little bit bigger. I'm saving him for the front. It's the same type. We're going to dip it and stick it in one of those windows. Okay, see how it kind of hangs down? And then this is our third one, and I'm going to put the third one more on this side. So it's like more like a triangle. All 3 of them are in different places on the arrangement. Okay, and I kind of just bend it down a little bit and open it up, all right? So now the next one that we have the most of is this tall one. So let's put the tall one in. I'll tell you that I started with the long needle pine because it's so filling, okay? So I wanted to give it the most room. I didn't want to take and cram it in at the end when I have very little room. So now these, the long ones, we're going to take them, we're going to give them a little bit of a bend. We're not going to bend them too much, but we don't want them necessarily sticking straight out. We want them to have a curve to them. And also, if you need to pull off the 2 needles or 3 needles at the bottom so that you have a complete nice wire to stick into your arrangement, that's what I usually do. Now, we're just going to start and fill in between the greenery, the green greenery, the highs and lows of the green greenery. Now let's take a quick count. This is number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 pieces. Again, just so that we make sure that we don't get to the back and only have one piece left for the whole back, okay? So I put one in the front. Now I'm just going to go over a little bit, and I'm going to fill in between, again, the holes that were opened up when we put that green in. This one's slightly higher. And all you're doing when you're doing this is you're giving this a little bit of dimension, okay, by doing highs and lows. You're giving your arrangement dimension. All right. So this one's going to go down a little bit more. And all I'm doing, just, these are plastic, you just pull them off. Gives you a really good wire so that you can dip these in. Okay. Just bend them a little bit. Nothing grows straight in nature, I'll tell you that. Okay. This process takes a little bit of time, but it definitely is worth it. You can see your arrangement coming to life when you have all these arranged and tucked in, and you have some frosted greenery next to the other greenery, giving it some dimension. This is really a foolproof method of arranging. If you just stick to the basics, and remember to go high, low on that foam. And also when you're putting your pieces in, make sure you hear the crunch of the foam, because then you know you've gotten it in there, into the foam, which is where the glue will keep that piece. All right, so just bending these, coming around to the front again. Okay, now since I've made one of these before, I've kind of decided that what I like to do is have a little bit of height on this side so that I have the flower, something kind of backing my flower, okay? That's where I'm going to put the flower, and I don't necessarily want that flower to just be out there. I need to have some greenery up there with the flower. So I'm going to take this piece. Actually, I'm going to find a longer one. That one was a little bit shorter. I'm just going to put this piece, I'm going to bend it in a C like this, a little bit more like a C, so it kind of curls around my snowman. All right, and this will kind of form a little backdrop for the flower that we're going to put over there. Okay. Now we'll just continue. I have 3 more of these pieces. I'm just going to look around and see if I see any space. Like I can see right here. I have 2, because we put that bottle brush in there. We need a little something down below. And I'm just going to bend it again. We want it to drape down a little bit. All right, I have 2 pieces left. Let's find some good real estate for this. Oh, I think right here would be good. And this will all be different for you. It depends on how you've put yours together. But just take your time and fill it in. You know, spin it around, look around. Even if you don't have a lazy Susan, just turn your arrangement around as you're going. And I'm going to put one down here underneath my long needle pine to give it a little bit of support and a little bit of drama coming down. Okay, so now this becomes, when you work with these frosted greeneries, believe me, it makes a mess. Now I have 4 of these and 3 of these. Now these, you can see, compare them. This one is going to take up a lot of room. This one is not. So this one's more of a filler. And let's find 3 places that we can put this. I think this is cypress or cedar. One of the 2. It begins with a C. Let's put it that way. Let's put, and all I'm doing is kind of trimming off the bottom so that I have a nice piece of strong wire to put this in. Okay. Now I'm going to put one in here in the front. Again, because I'm going to try to favor the front. The front is definitely the primo location. I'm going to just separate these and tuck this in. Hear it crunch. And see, it fills in that whole spot. Can you see that? Okay, now we have 2 more pieces. And I do want to just caution you, there is definitely a right and a wrong side to this frosted greenery because it seems like the frosting in the snow is just on the top. So, you know, just kind of be aware of that, that's all. I'm going to put this one over here. It's another opening that can use a lot of, there we go, a lot of filler. And then as I turn it around, I think my back area can use one of these. Okay, all I'm doing is dipping and sticking it into the foam. You'll hear it crunch. There we go. Okay, so now we have, what's left are these 4, and these are really very, like, you can really get these into holes. Now, I don't know if you can see this hole. Do you see this hole here? Right in here. I'm going to stick this one right in there, and that hole will go away, magically go away. There we go. Now, I do want one of these over by my the flower section, so I have a hole right behind it. I'm going to stick this in there. Kind of tilt it upward. Okay, just to give that bow some backdrop. That's what I'm giving the bow some backdrop. I have a hole right here in the front. Okay, so I'm going to put that in here. Making sure that the frosted side, the snowy side, is pointing up. Okay, my last one, I have a very deep green color here that I want to break up a little bit with this. Okay, so visually it looked very dark over in this section because of all the green greenery that we put in first. So I put that in to kind of break up that greenery, the deeper green. Sorry, I should be more specific with that. Now, we got these 2 pieces. Now these are kind of weird little things here. I'm not sure that I really like this one. That tall thing. Well, I changed my mind actually. I can put it over here by the bow, by where the flower is going to go, and give it kind of some character over here. Okay, can you see how that kind of sticks out there? And it's going to look weird for now, but when we get the flower in there, it'll cover it up a bit. And then I think what I'm going to do is, for the line, I'm going to follow this line through the arrangement and bring the second one down in this direction. Okay, so it kind of looks like a line of this type of greenery. We'll just bring it down and tuck it in right here. So let me just dip this in glue. And then you can see what I mean by follow the line from the right to the left. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we can get this in camera. Okay, see how it comes this way, all the way down across to this side of the arrangement. Okay, so our next thing that we're going to do is we're going to use our filler bush. Okay, this is a 3-prong filler bush. Take it out of the plastic. Okay. I keep as many when I ship my greeneries to you. I'm going to keep them in the plastic so that they, as best they can, they don't get too jazzed up. Okay, this filler bush has 3 pieces in it. You'll see there's 3 stems. Okay, there's the long one in the back, and then the 2 feeder ones off the top, off the bottom. All right, Now, it's important, I want you to pay attention to this part of the stem, because we're going to cut that off right now in case we need to stick anything into the foam, like our bows, if we add extra ribbons and things like that. This is what you need to be able to stick it in there. So I provided one for the snowman and one for your bow, but it never hurts to just grab this off, put it to the side. If you don't use it, you know, throw it away. But believe me, I save all of these little nubs. Okay, so you can take and pull these apart. I'm just pulling the two sections that were on the bottom of this big one. So now I have the three sections separate. And then these sections are all kind of, they've got all this skanky little stuff. Just trim it. Not where they're all gathered, just slightly down, just trim it so it's a little easier to get that into the foam. If you have all these pieces all over the place, when you go to push it into the foam, it kind of fights you. So all I'm doing is just taking and cutting so that these are very neat ends, okay, to go into the foam. And then this one was the tall one off the end. And I'm going to point out a piece. You can keep this piece in or you can pull it out. This is just, we call them twiglets, little twiglets, okay, that I typically cut out of these, and then I'll go and add these towards the end of my arrangement, and all I do is just take and wind it along my finger, and it gives it some curl. So when you add these twiglets to your arrangement, they're kind of curled and going every which way as opposed to just straight, okay? So just pull them. Like I said, you can leave them on the original section, that top section. I personally pull them off, and then it gives me control of where I want to add those. I'm going to put them in the side and add them to the end, at the end of my arrangement. Now let me just clean this, keep this clean so your vision is a little clearer. There we go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take these pieces and we're going to just open them up take each little stem on this piece and bend it, okay? And then bring the flowers forward. All we're doing is we're just spreading this out, making it as full as possible, okay? Because you want this to be, it's called a filler flower, so all it's going to do is it's going to help make your eye move all around the arrangement because it's so loose and airy, okay? So you can see that I've kind of spread that all out. All right, look at it compared. This is how it's shipped, and this is how it looks when you open it up. So take the time and open up all three of them and just take and, you know, kind of give it each little side of it a bend. You know, I'm just literally touching every stem on this that's all glued together, and I'm opening it up, spreading it out, okay? Here's the second one. Let's do it to the third real quick. This fern, I usually put the fern in the back because you want it to hang down. And this fern here, these two ferns as well. I just kind of bend them to the back. And I take all of them, just spread them out. And you'll see when we stick it in. I can show you the finished Santa and see how your eye, all this movement helps your eye go all around the arrangement. You know, not just stuck in one place. Your eye will follow all these different lines. Okay, so now we just have to decide. I'm going to put one kind of off, so it's going to be underneath. Now we want it to kind of mix in, so let's find a spot where you kind of lift up. Okay, lift up your previous placements of greenery. Dip this in. Okay, I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna stick it in. Let it hear the foam. Because we've got so much other things in there, it's going to be hard to hear the foam, but you'll know it because it kind of grabs when it hits the foam. And then I'm going to just take the time and bend these all down, move these, kind of entwine them with the other greenery so they're not so, looks like it's been there for a while. I'm just taking, kind of pull them through the other greeneries. Mix them through. You hear the jingle bells of them. Okay. So you see how that kind of all blends in. The berries peek through different areas. I'll just take move them underneath other, okay? So you can see how it kind of blends in. You don't know which was there first. These don't have really, these are actually like fishing wire, so there's no wire in them. Fishing line, I should say. So they're just going to stick out, but they're frilly enough. Now I'm going to put another one on this side. Okay. I'm going to take that one. This was the top piece. It's got a longer stem. I'm going to cut that stem down. Okay. Save it to the side. And I'm going to put this one over on this side of my snowman, doing pretty much the same thing. I'm going to separate out the greenery I have there currently, find a hole, and then push it through into that styrofoam. There, we got a good crunch out of that. Okay, do the same thing. Take and spread the berries throughout, pull them down underneath the other greenery. Gently mix it in. Okay, and because we have the third one, we're going to stick it in the back. Do the same thing. We're just going to find the hole. I can see it clear as a bell here. And stick it in, and then pull some up. Pull it down through the greenery. Pull our greenery back together. You know, some of our greenery can go up. All right, so there we have it. We have pretty much all over. Okay, now our next thing is to put in the flower. I'm going to put the flower in. We've already decided that I'm going to put it on this side. All right, as it's facing me, it's going to be on my left side. You can put it on your right side. This is your design. You put it where you'd like. But I've built up the greenery behind it. And all I'm doing now is just kind of shaping the leaves, the petals, I should say. Okay? And I'm just testing how I want it kind of snuggled in. All right? So I'm going to cut my stem down to about here. All right? Don't be aggressive with this cut, because you can't put that stem back. So if you have to, try to measure, and if it's too long, you can cut it again, but you can't grow that stem back. Okay, so I'm going to just tuck it in. I've bent the stem. Let's see if I can show you this. I've bent the stem so that it reaches, remember the snowman sat completely on the foam. And we need to get underneath the snowman. So I'm bending the stem just slightly so I can hit the foam that's underneath him, okay? So I'm dipping it. And again, I'm going to wait for that crunch. There we go. All right, now I'm going to turn it to me just to fluff out my petals a little bit more. You can make them come out, in, up, whatever. Okay, that's how I've done mine. Okay. All right, now, these are the pieces that we have left, but I don't want you to think I forgot those, okay? Those are all the pieces that we've held off. Now I'm gonna make the bow, and I'm going to put my bow on this side. Okay, my flower is on the left. Probably as you see it, maybe on the right, but I'm going to put the bow on the opposite side. And let me show you the finished one, just to show you what I was. And again, there's no right or wrong, you do it however you want. But what I did is I put the flower on this side with a hint of a loop, and that's why I'll show you how to do that. And then the other bow I have on this side over here, woo! And I have that one kind of cascading down. Remember that line of greenery that we put in before? Well, I want that bow to kind of follow downward, all right? And I'll show you how I'm going to make that bow. Let's clear the area for you. I'm going to clean this off too. You don't need to see that all the time. Okay. Now, I call this a linear bow. We want a linear bow. So pull out your ribbon from your kit. Definitely pull out a zip tie and pull out that nub that I sent you. Okay. I'm going to hold off on the snowflakes for now. All right. Now this is 2.5 yards of ribbon, and so that's quite a bit of ribbon for, we're not making a really big bow, but we're going to make a linear bow. And all I'm doing is using my hand, like the old-fashioned curling ribbon, just go down the ribbon and it takes out the bends from how I had to bend it for you, the ribbon, to ship it. So that's all I'm doing is just working out those kinks in the ribbon, all right? So we're going to establish our tail. How long do we want our tail? We want it to kind of hang down out of the arrangement, all right? And this is probably about, 12 inches, all right? So we're going to take, that's going to be our tail, okay? All I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop, gather it at that point that I established, that 12-inch, remember? I'm going to keep my hand there. I'm going to keep my finger there. And I'm just going to keep folding this ribbon. This is a linear bow. I'm going to fold it up on itself and make a slightly longer loop. See how there's 2 loops now? The first one's a little bit shorter than the second. We're going to do this one more time. We're going to bring it up and make a loop. So we now have 3 step down loops. Okay, now this is where just take the back of that ribbon and twist it. Okay, so now you have your 12-inch loop, tail that we started with. And then we have loops that we just made, and all we're doing is folding them up. All right? And then the only twist we did was the very last tail. Okay, so you're going to take your nub, you're going to put it back here where your fingers are, holding that all together, and all you're going to do is zip tie this set of loops, to that nub, or that big thick piece of wire. Okay. Now, for those, if you've never used a zip tie, and it looks like I've never done it because it's taken me a long time to do this, it normally doesn't, but all you have to do is push it on, and you've got to be able to hear it zip. Hear it zip? Okay. So I'll show you everything that I've done. You pull it as tightly as you can. Okay, I'll stand up and show this to you a little bit closer. Okay, so you have the nub, the zip tie is around it, and then you have a linear bow, meaning it's all in one line. Okay, you know how some bows go out and in and out and in. Well, this one is a linear. Okay, all I'm doing is cutting this off. Okay, I'm going to cut this tail off as well. I'm going to cut on an angle. It's called a knife cut. Just cut on an angle from one side to the other. Give it a knife's edge kind of. And then this one I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just cutting straight across. I'm going to save this for a decoration by the flower. But now this is my bow. Okay, this is the part that's going to stick into the foam. All right, and this is going to come down and drape over, like right in this area. Okay, let me find a place that I want to put it. I want to put it off to the side a little bit. So all I'm going to do is put glue on the end of this, and then part some of my greenery that's over here, and then tuck it into that foam. And you have to push. There we go. And you have to push with the top of the nub. Okay, so we put the bow on this. So the bow is here. This is the part that's going into the foam. When I push it into the foam, I'm holding this end here and pushing it so that the ribbon doesn't slide off. So I'm just holding the end and pushing it in. Okay? So now just take and weave the tails down through the arrangement. And all I'm doing is lifting up some of the greenery so that it kind of drapes out. And then my linear bow is going to hang over the edge and give kind of a balance. You see the balance it gives? Here's a big flower, and the bow kind of brings balance to your arrangement. Okay, let me just, I think I want, just when I saw that in the camera, I just want to bring up a loop a little bit higher. That's all I'm doing, is I'm just manipulating the loops a little bit so that a little bit more color is close to the, you see, I kind of pulled that out. All right, now, if you want to make a quick loop for the back of the bow, which I did in the original one, we're going to take the same, we're going to do the same process. We're going to take the end of it, okay, I'm just going to make a loop and bring it back, but you got to make a kind of a tall loop because it's got to fill in that whole spot. Do you see how it's got to fill that in? Can you see that? Okay, so you want to make a tall loop. You're going to twist that end, and actually I'm going to twist it this way so that my end kind of comes up and creates another. Okay, so I have my tail goes up into the bow, and then at the back, all I'm doing is bringing this other end up instead of down. Okay, that's all I'm trying to do is make, and I'm going to make a taller loop. There we go. So let's see. Can you see this? All right. So now I'm going to take that nub that I cut off of our white one, our filler flower. I have another zip tie in my bag. I'll use that real quick. Okay, now I'm going to zip tie it around, pull it tight again. Okay, cut off the end, and now you have a bow, or you actually just have a loop that has one loop, a tail that goes upwards, and the tail that will go down. It's on a stick. I'm going to hold my finger here on the top of it when I push it into the wreath, into the foam. Okay? So that's pretty much all I'm doing. And I'm going to give the stem a little bit of a bend again because we have to get in underneath the snowman base. Okay, find the foam, push it in. There's a lot going on over here, so I've got to just be patient and find that, kind of move the greenery around so I can see where I'm poking it. And just, there we go. All right, so now we have a little bit of color over on this end. I'm just going to knife edge this ribbon up this way. And now we just have a little bit of color around the flower. Okay, it's not a huge bow. It's just giving it a little bit of color with the greenery over there. Okay. Now, let's just finish up quickly. The rest is just finishing work. Okay, now, I have 3 snowflakes. We have the berries, and then we have the twiglets if we want to put it in, and these 4 little ferns that came from our first bush, our greenery. Okay? Now I'm going to take these ferns and I'm going to stick them, glue them, and stick them into my bow. Just the layers of my bow. Okay? Because these are visually very thin. You're not going to really, they're not going to stand out. However, if you put them in a bow, they actually give that bow a little bit of character, and you actually see them a little bit better. Now I'm not sticking those all the way into the foam. The glue is hitting other pieces of the greeneries that are already there, and that will hold them in place. So it's very fine. You probably cannot see them easily, but they are there and they add a lot of texture. Now this pine here, I'm going to put, again, I want to favor the front a little bit. So I'm going to take this long needle pine that we cut in half. Remember, we cut, it came with one, we cut it in half. I'm going to put the first half of it down here, and watch what magically happens when it's in there. Okay, see how it gives it nice texture? This other one I'm going to put back here by my bow, by the loop over here, and just give that a little bit of a texture as well. Now, I don't know if you can see it, it's poking out, but in person, you'll be able to see what I've done. It's poking out, it gives it some pizzazz there. Now, these berries come in 3. I'm going to separate them to get more bang for my buck. I'm just going to cut them as long as I possibly can. So each stem is as long as I can. And I'm just going to disperse them through. I'm going to put one in the front here. And again, I'm not worrying about getting to the foam with this because these are so light that as soon as the glue on the tip touches anything, it's going to glue it, it's going to stick to it. All right? And I'm going to take and put one over here by the bow itself. Okay. And my last one, I have 1, 2. Let's put one over here. Let's lift up this petal of the flower, tuck this all the way back in, and let that come out. Okay. Well, this one looks... I actually do not like this one here. Wait, I might. If I put a little snowflake by it. Oops. Yeah, see this? It looks, to me, it looks odd. Just one little stream of berries amongst all the green. See all that green? So I'm going to take the tip of my snowflake, dip it in the glue, and then just tuck that piece into the greenery. You see that snowflake now? It takes away from the weirdness of just one little thing. Now we have 3 of these, so let's put another one. I'm going to put one back here. You see that one tucked in back over here? Okay. And the last one, I have 1, 2, of course, we got to go over here. I'm going to tuck it in over here. A little lower. And you may not see it on camera. Let's see if you can find it. It's like a hide and seek thing. But in person, you will see it. And that's primarily when you want your things to be seen, of course, in person. So let's take these twiglets. Let's just, so we're not wasting anything, I'm separating them. And I'm just going to add them, you know, maybe one over here by the bow. You see that one, that twiglet there? It's coming out of the bow. And then we'll take one and put it over by this loop. And just tucking it in to give it some different dimension. Okay, so that's it. That is our snowman candlestick. Yours will look beautiful. And really the principles that I wanted to reinforce were that when you're initially greening your base, you do the high and the low as you go around it, high and low, and that way you fill in with the other ones, but you can see all the dimension that we have on this. It's not flat looking, and it's because we've taken the time to intermingle the green and the snowy greeneries, and they're at different heights and different levels. They bring in a lot of different texture to the wreath, or to the arrangement, I should say. So there you have it. Now I know it's being cut off by the camera, but I think our this is the weird thing, is trying to get it in camera for you. There he is. There's our snowman. He's very happy with his new home. I want to thank you all for being a part of this and giving me this opportunity. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and much health and good luck in the new year. Thank you.